presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit it. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, a joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Run inbound, get it into long left corner, she'll pop a three. Oh, she buried it! Of course she did! The SoCal native has given Oregon a 3-point lead with 30.6 to go. Timeout USC. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? What a game last night for Oregon women's basketball on the road in Los Angeles against a top 25 team, a team that has only lost to a number one team in the country on that floor. Until last night, Oregon closed on a 14-0 run against USC, took a 71-66 victory. The Ducks came back all the way from 17 down against USC in order to win the game in Los Angeles against the Trojans. Ari Long down the stretch was automatic. Sabrina Ionescu in attendance, and it showed that this team was resilient. Sabrina came in at halftime, riled up the athletes with a halftime speech. It worked because Katie Fiso was nails down the stretch. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Ahisa Tute was awesome in this game. 17 points, 13 rebounds for Ahisa Tute. Ari Long made the final 9 points for Oregon before the free throws to cap it. The Ducks were down 6, and it was an Ari Long three-pointer, followed by an Ari Long three-pointer, followed by an Ari Long three-pointer to give Oregon a 3-point lead and ultimately propel the Ducks to victory. Sophia Bell was great in this game. Mia Jacobs played a key part in this game. A huge win for Oregon women's basketball, 71-66, a great way to open the show here on a Wednesday. We'll also get to some Peach Bowl preview from Oregon student athletes, but the way that Oregon women's basketball was resilient last night, we could not start with anything other than Oregon women's basketball because they were absolutely clutch when they needed to be. And this team does not say die. We saw it against Michigan when Oregon came back from 16 down at halftime. We saw it here against USC where the Ducks came back from 17 down, and with Sabrina Ionescu in attendance, it was no better resilient feat than for Oregon to get a huge victory and a worthy post-game celebration for Oregon women's basketball as well.
I couldn't be more proud. 50 points we scored in that second half.
Yeah!
Against one of the best defenses in the country.
Y'all didn't celebrate one person that needs to be celebrated in here, and that's Sophia.
A worthy celebration for Oregon women's basketball with Sabrina Ionescu in attendance. You heard Coach Graves, 50 second-half points. 26 of those came in the fourth quarter. The Ducks outscored USC 26-8 in the fourth quarter. This Ducks team did not say die from the jump. A huge victory for Oregon women's basketball. They outshot USC 42% to 33% from the field, 39% to 31% from three. A lot of the other statistics pretty even throughout the course of this game, but it was a resilient effort down the stretch. The Ducks strung together the stops when they needed to, especially in the fourth quarter. The Ducks went on a huge run at the beginning of the fourth quarter to cut it to a one-point game. Then USC went on their 8-0 run. The only points they scored in the quarter, USC went on an 8-0 run. Ducks were down 9. And then Oregon rattled off 14 points in a row in order to take the 71-66 victory. Kelly Graves, I think, pretty pleased and proud of the way his group battled on the road against a ranked team, a team that plays very well at home, and a team that had the advantage throughout the course of the game. Coach Graves, I don't think you could be more pleased with the resiliency that his team showed throughout the course, especially of the second half and fourth quarter. He met up with Chris Clayton after the game on the Oregon Sports Network broadcast to talk about his reaction to what was a thrilling 71-66 win for Oregon women's basketball.
Wow. Come from behind win. The Oregon defense tightens the screws the final 5 minutes. And 71-66 the final. An incredible turnaround for this Ducks team. And now we're joined by head coach Kelly Graves. Coach, what flipped a 50-point second half to win this game?
You know, I was just talking to him on the Big Ten Network, and I said, tell the referees right from the start, give the other team 10 points. We seem to just play better when we're behind, you know, and we play with a little desperation. But, man, I could not be more proud of our team, man. Seriously, it's getting to me right now. I just the grit and the toughness and the heart that we play with. And we scored 50 points in that second half against one of the best defensive teams in the country. So, this was a typical Big Ten game, though, isn't it? They all are going to come down to this kind of finish. But there's too many heroes to point out. I thought Katie was more like herself in that second half, but she didn't get down on herself at halftime. She came back out with a new commit to just do better. And how about the threes from Ari Long? Holy criminy. Yeah. I mean, and then, Ahis was spectacular tonight. I thought Sophia was very solid defensively on Jazzy. We did a good job, I think, on Jazzy. And, again, we scored 50 points in that second half, but I think it was our defense that won the game. I mean, and that's late in the game, we got stops. And then most importantly, we got rebounds. Yeah. I don't know how many offensive rebounds they had in the second half, but my goodness, in the first half, however many shots they missed, they got that many rebounds back. Yeah. So it was just it was a great win. That
play, when it was 66-all, you call a timeout. Was that specifically drawn up for Ari?
Well, I'd like to say we definitely, we said that instead of, normally she would curl that, but we told her to run straight to the three, and she did it. And that's not an easy shot.
No.
Going away from, okay, all right, I guess I'm supposed to leave. But, no, I'd rather be here with you.
Well, we can make it short if need be. But I wanted to ask about the defense, the last 5 minutes of the game. What does it say about this team? It looked like everybody was tired because of all the energy expended coming back, and to have the guts to lock down the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, I looked at Katie a few times, Annie Hees, both. And, Sophia never looks like she's just tired ever. Yeah. But those two in particular were really spent. But they just kept digging a little bit deeper, and we were just exhorting them to, give it one more stop. And they continued to stack stop on stop on stop, and and this was the outcome. So doesn't get any easier. We'll enjoy it tonight. And guess who we got coming in? We got Michigan State, another ranked opponent, into our place. So, but this is going to be a great ride home. And again, I'm happy for all our fans. I apologize for the cardiac nature of how we're playing. So
losing my voice,
and we have an older clientele, So although it was a 7 o'clock game, maybe they didn't stay up. I don't know.
Jeopardy's on.
But gosh, what a great game.
That was amazing. I think everybody enjoyed it. I don't want to interrupt your post-game celebrations.
All right.
We'll talk about
I probably got some water,
and
they're going to throw it on us. And,
all right.
We'll
go enjoy it. We'll talk again
it was
soon.
great having Sabrina here, though.
Yes.
She kind of lit the kids up a little bit at halftime,
okay.
and I loved her message. It's really funny. She said the exact same thing that I wanted to say. I gave her the first crack at it, as she walked in, and I was thinking, damn, Sab, I would have said the exact same thing.
Right.
So, yeah, it was good to have her here on a night like this.
What was the gist of her message?
That we've got to play our game. You know, we were a little intimidated. She talked about that. Talked about just playing stronger, and you know, it's the same message really we had at the Michigan game. We were down 16 that night exactly at halftime, and we just flipped the script, so to speak. But yeah, just realize who we are. And listen, we're not going to out-athlete them, so we're going to have to out-tough them. And and the message was right on point. And they listen. Maybe I got to hire her.
That's right. Record that. Play a video every halftime, I guess.
All right, buddy.
All right, thanks.
All right, see ya.
Kelly Graves, his post-game thoughts after Oregon's 71-66 victory over USC. Some dramatics down the stretch. Scott, can you play the clip that we had in the cold open again? Because Oregon, down the stretch, they were absolutely on fire. Ari Long played such a key part, and I just want to relive this moment once again because it was
inbound, getting into the long left corner. She'll pop a three. Oh, she buried it. Of course she did. The SoCal native has given Oregon a 3-point lead with 30.6 to go. Timeout USC. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. If you're watching live with us on YouTube, Facebook here in the 1 o'clock hour, you can see Sabrina Ionescu on the sideline screaming at Ari Long when she nails the shot. And I thought Chris Clayton absolutely killed it on the call as well. I think Chris doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I think that the play-by-play crew that we have here is so special at the University of Oregon. To have Jerry Allen and Chris Clayton and Joey Mack, who are, I think, always kill the call every single time. It's awesome to be a part of. I'm lucky to be a part of it, be part of this play-by-play crew. It really is humbling, and to hear Chris have a moment like that and hit the moment the way that he did, I was really proud for him. Really proud for Oregon women's basketball. 71-66, the final score, a road victory over USC, and a huge win for the Ducks. But it's still the regular season for Oregon women's basketball. And we're into the Final Four for Oregon football. And there's a lot of Peach Bowl preview still to have. We're hearing from so many student athletes still coming down from this Oregon women's basketball exhilarating victory. But we're ramping back up for Friday when the Oregon football team takes the gridiron. Taking a timeout on Duck Insider, we're hearing from the quarterback when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Wednesday, breaking down the Oregon women's basketball exhilarating victory over USC, and also previewing what is going to be a rematch for Oregon football, trying to avenge the only loss of the season in the Peach Bowl against Indiana. That's coming up on Friday, 4:30, ESPN. Jerry, Jorgie, Dusty, Joey, they all just left about 30 minutes ago, Scott? Yeah, about 30 minutes ago to get on the team bus, go to the airport. So they are en route to Atlanta, and so is the starting quarterback, Dante Moore. It's going to be a battle of, for my money, the two best quarterbacks in college football between Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza. I tend to believe that even though Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy, Dante Moore is every bit as talented as Fernando Mendoza is, and it's going to be really exciting to see these two quarterbacks duel it out on the football field. Dante Moore, he met with the media previewing the matchup earlier in the week. Yesterday, Dante Moore spoke with the media. Let's hear from Oregon's quarterback.
Dante, I'm curious on where the Orange Bowl offensive MVP trophy is and how if that was difficult getting that back at all.
Yeah. At first, there was a video of me, caught in the moment. I didn't know they were announcing the MVPs and stuff. I was more engaged with the fans. But, yeah, that trophy was super heavy. A lot of oranges, of course. But, yeah, it was a great great moment. As a kid, you dreamed about those things. And glad we got the win. And we're, carrying on to this week.
You talked about how you made the regular season matchup more than what it was and didn't have as much joy. What has the last few days been like, and how have you carried yourself differently mentally approaching this one?
Yeah. Like you say, in the past I talked about it. It was just made the game bigger than what it was. And this week I kind of just attacked it like how I've been doing these past weeks. Making sure I have the same routine when it comes to, watching film, preparing my body. Just getting ready for this moment like I've been doing with, JMU and, Texas Tech. But, yeah, this week, we're still the same offense. We're just, having fun. Of course, practice, we've been having, some little bit of mistakes, but that's what practice is all about. We got to learn from it. But, yeah, Indiana's, a great competitive team, and we're just ready to go out there, play football. It's 11-11 at the end of the day, and we're excited for it.
Henry was just in here saying that he's been impressed by your growth as a leader for the blocking unit when it comes to setting protections and stuff like that after that first game. Just how have you seen yourself continue to develop in the pre-snap stuff and getting everything set, especially when you're going against a defense that's going to throw as much stuff as they do?
Yeah, I got to give, their DC and, the 11 guys on defense their credit. They do a great job bringing multiple different pressures, showing different looks, pre-snap and then going post-snap. So, yeah, just kind of just watching the film. At the end of the day, of course, they might throw something new out there. It's just how game plans work, and they might get us on it, and then that's when you go to the sideline and watch the film and see we can go from there and just learn from it. So, at the end of the day, I've been just, taking these protections and these, run game things important. At the end of the day, you got to protect yourself, you got to protect your body. If I had to give a quarterback tip, for any incoming freshmen, I'll say learn protections first, because at the end of the day, everybody can spin the ball, but you can't spin the ball while you're on your back. So you got to make sure that you get the protections right. And I've been kind of taking that more seriously, just understanding, body health and making sure that, we can move the ball and keep moving the chains.
What did you take away? What were you taught from the first game with Indiana, and how valuable could those lessons be in a rematch?
Yeah, I was too fast on my progressions. There was some times where there was an open guy, and you can say I was kind of seeing ghosts out there. It was more of just trying to get through my progressions too fast. And another thing, too, is when I climb into the pocket, I tend to, I was trying to rush and get out. And there were some times where I can climb into the pocket and there was no need for me to move. So those are probably the two biggest things. Just got to, learn from there. But, yeah, I'm feeling real confident and excited.
Just in that first half against Texas Tech, you guys were able to move the chains, but just couldn't finish in the end zone. Just what have you maybe done in preparation for this semifinal matchup to kind of improve that and improve the finishing?
Yeah, gotta love our kicker Atticus. He does a great job making kicks, and yeah, as a quarterback, of course, you want to get the ball in the end zone. You want to score touchdowns, put points up. But yeah, Texas Tech defense was amazing. They did a great job, of course, stopping us on, short runs. They just had a great game plan. And at the end of the day, of course, we beat ourselves sometimes. We shot ourselves in the foot, and we kind of got to learn from there and just go from there. So, we had a lot of mistakes that's corrected this week, and we're excited to put points on the board.
A couple of guys have mentioned that Coach Lanning cited March Madness and the way teams peak at that time and how key that is at this time. What have you taken from that message, and can you share a little bit more of the detail of what he was saying?
Yeah, Coach Lennon does a great job preparing us. I mean, that's somebody that, talks to different coaches when it comes to the professional or to even college. Let's understand how to prep a week or prep your season. And not many coaches can do that. Not many coaches will put their pride aside and learn from other coaches. And Coach Lennon does a great job just doing that. And he makes sure that he has the best schedule for us when it comes to just preparing us for games, knowing that college football isn't just, two playoff games and that's a national championship. It's multiple games now. So he talked to, of course, coaches about the March Madness bracket, and that's just how it looks and how it works. You got to make sure that you have a great plan, not overkilling the team, not keeping us exhausted. Make sure we have great energy, just having our minds, fixed on the right thing. So he's done a great job, and at the end of the day, he's still learning. He's still preparing us, to go to war.
This program really preaches a next man up mentality. How much more important does that become when it's the end of the season, guys are beat up, and you guys are also dealing with the portal?
Yeah, this whole year we've been doing a great job when it comes to next man up mentality. A lot of players have stepped up for us. But yeah, it's a lot of distractions going on in college football right now. Portal, NIL, people being hurt. But Coach Landon's doing a great job making sure we're focused. Understanding that there's only 4 teams left. These are things that you dreamed of. I don't know if Oregon's ever been in a Orange Bowl or a Chick-fil-A Bowl. Like, these are things that as a kid that you just wish for, and you got to be present where your feet is at. Of course, the portal has a window of when it opens and closes. So a lot of it is just business. People got to make their decisions and go from there. But we're just more excited. We're ready for this game and we're ready to get going.
Mentioned the strength of that Texas Tech defense and with their front seven, just in terms of the way they're able to speed you up and make you have to process things so much quicker. How do you think that prepares you for this upcoming game against Indiana?
Yeah, Indiana has great rushers as well and great linebackers. This team is, all vets. They do a great job just, showing different things. But yeah, Texas Tech, of course, had, speedy rushers, dominant up front. Of course, they got to me, and those are things we've learned from. This whole week, the O-line has been, correcting themselves on things they messed up on this game. But I can help them out as well, climbing up into the pocket, getting the ball out of my hands quicker. So we got a lot of things to learn from there, and we're excited for this game.
We mentioned before even the regular season matchup about, yes, quarterbacks don't play against each other, but it's awfully built that way. And depending on what you choose to do, there's going to be a captive audience of NFL fans paying attention to you too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you mentally prepare for and head into when so much of it's going to be about you and Fernando and how you do against each other and who's ahead of who on whose draft board, depending on what you do and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, I mean, I got to give, Fernando his credit. I mean, he's had a hell of a year. He's had some great years. This is our 3rd time playing against each other. He played at UCLA this year, and then this is our 3rd time. And he's somebody that, works his tail off. A very smart quarterback, talented quarterback. But I think the biggest thing that I take away from him is just he gives the glory to God through his success, through his accolades, through his wins. He always gives time to glorify God, and that's something I appreciate and respect towards him. But yeah, it's things that of course we prayed for. I mean, at the end of the day, when I started football at 4 years old, everybody's goal is to get to the National Football League. But yeah, there's gonna be all these things going on. I'm human. I see it on social media, but I told myself that I shouldn't be engaged with it, because if I do, I'm thinking about myself, and I'm not thinking about the 10 other guys on the field with me. So I got to make sure that I give them my 100% love and attention, because without them, I wouldn't be in my situation I'm in now. So I'm thankful for my teammates, and it's gonna be a great game. And when I see Fernando again, we talk after the game. Whatever we do, I mean, I'm just glad got to play against him.
Dante, 2-part, you just brought up your faith and how important that is to you. Just what you can say about how your faith guides you and why you keep God first. And then secondly, just how you've seen your game from game 1 to where you are right now, just how you've evolved as a quarterback and as a leader, and how you've seen that be tangible.
Yeah, got to give, of course, all glory to God. He's blessed us. I mean, everybody in this room, he's blessed his team. He's blessed just, just myself, just the talents, my journey. There's been many times where I wanted to quit, but of course I got to respect and appreciate God's time and understand I have my faith in Him. But yeah, I mean, playing against Indiana, of course, the first time Of course, we didn't get the result we wanted, but with this time, of course, we watched the film. We're going to adjust and make some things, and I'm excited for that game and get going.
Just mentioned about guys going in the portal at this time, Dante, and coaches have talked a lot about how the calendar's so messed up and whether changes happen. It's also awkward at times for you as well because you have a draft decision and the portal's open, and what does the future of this program do, depending on what you, all those things. From a player's perspective, what could be done better, or what adjustments need to be made so that there's less stress on guys like you with those decisions? Or when some of your teammates are thinking about the portal, but you have a different academic calendar than some teams who they don't have a decision until next week after a semifinal. So what, from a player's perspective, to somebody who's gone through it and is going through it now, has to change to make this just better, to where your OC isn't in Lexington for a couple of days, to where you're not up against it, to where a program's not up against it, to where teams playing for a championship can focus on a championship?
Yeah, this whole process it's crazy. Of course, when I hit the portal, I knew where I was going right away. And of course, I was in a different situation. Like, I wasn't in the playoffs. I was at UCLA. I wasn't, getting ready for that moment. But yeah, it's a lot that comes with it. I don't really have much to say about it because I don't want everyone to think about it, But yeah, there can be a way we can fix it. I think Coach Landon, I've been saying, in his past interviews, different ways to change it. So whatever Coach Landon says, I agree. So I don't know what else to say.
You guys have found a bit of a different identity on offense since that first game, just going from base 11 to base 12 as you had to adapt to the receiver injuries. Just the plays are a lot of the same stuff because Kenyon and Jamari can do special things at tight end. But how do you think that just presents a different matchup for Indiana to deal with, especially when they're a team that likes to play three linebackers out there a lot?
Yeah, Indiana's linebackers, of course, are very talented. We have different personnel matches. But yeah, this whole year we've been finding different ways to become a successful offense, and Coach Stein, of course, does a great job just making multiple plays with different personnels and things of that nature. But yeah, we're excited. Everybody's feeling healthy. Everybody's ready to get going, and we're going to see what happens.
Dante Moore, looking forward to the opportunity to play in the national semifinal. Another crack at Indiana, Friday, 4:30 on ESPN, 2:30 pregame on the Oregon Sports Network. The guys just left. They're probably not even wheels up at the airport yet. Yeah, you don't think so. Not yet. But they're going to be. And the game's coming up in 2 days. And there's a lot to get excited about because it's the national semifinal and a trip to the national championship is on the line. Hearing from some more big-time players on the offense that could play major factors in this game when we return. I'm Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, What's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Wednesday. Looking forward to the Peach Bowl coming up on Friday. It's going to be a bit of a shorthanded Oregon team. There are quite a few players that are listed as out on the most recent availability report. Running back Jordan Davison, running back Jaden Lamar, running back Dejon Riggs, running back Mekhi Hughes. Those are four key running backs for Oregon. Also Evan Stewart, Kyler Casper, and Justice Lowe from the receiver position. Janoris Wilson, Dalen Austin, Solomon Davis, Sione Lalea, and Kingston Lopa in the defensive backfield. All listed as out for the Peach Bowl. Ducks are going to be playing a little bit shorthanded, but the good thing is that even though there are four running backs that are listed as out on this availability report, they're the running backs that haven't necessarily gotten the most snaps. Sure, Jordan Davison has been a key cog to Oregon this season. So is Jaden Lamar. But Noah Whittington has led this running back stable. And it's been De'Aaron Hill who has been spelling him at times. There's still a lot of snaps and a lot of talent that Oregon has had in the backfield that are still at the Ducks' disposal for this Friday. Noah Whittington being one of them. Whittington spoke with the media yesterday breaking down this game for Oregon and the role that he's going to need to play with the Ducks admittedly a touch shorthanded in the backfield. Let's hear from the veteran running back for Oregon.
I wonder if you could reflect back to the first game and just kind of what your lasting memories were from that and maybe how the defeat impacted this group psychologically.
We just didn't play up to our standard. As simple as that. We just got to come out, play our brand of football, and we'll take care of business.
You're one of the few guys who was here at the very beginning 4 years ago and starting with Dan and this team, this program, in this building. And I realize it's a very different situation compared to today. But how different a feeling is it last season when you guys had the success this season in a playoff game going there to the way things started in Atlanta 4 years ago?
I feel like, each year we just continue to grow. That's been the theme of the team since I've been here. And, I feel like Coach Landon, has really held the standard that, each and every game year, we just continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. So I feel like, that's just a result of, all those days of just continuing to get better and just growing, yeah.
You've had some history playing at Mercedes-Benz, whether it was when you were in high school or when you first transferred to Oregon. What does it mean to be not only back in your home state, but back in that stadium for this matchup?
It means a lot, going back to where it all started. I played my first big, I guess you can say football games that was televised in that stadium. So, yeah, it'll bring back some good memories for sure.
You'd missed some games in the start of the season, and that Indiana game originally was one where you were still kind of coming back from that injury. How have you felt like you're just back to 100% and more ready for this game the second time around?
Just honestly just continually to do treatment, just routine. I feel like in the beginning of the season, I got hurt at practice. I wasn't wearing my girdle, so, I wear my girdle now. So, yeah.
They generate about as many TFLs as any team in the country defensively. What is it about what they do that is able to generate that much pressure, whether it's in pass rush or getting after you guys in the backfield?
They do a lot of exotic pressures, sim pressures. They're a real disciplined defense. They're real good at what they do. And as far as up front, they do a lot of games. They do a lot of movement, stunts, twist games, and I feel like our O-line is going to handle that, and it won't be a problem.
I'm going to ask about that. Your responsibility and the running backs in general in pass protection too, just because it can't just be the O-line, right? It has to be kind of everybody. How difficult is it when they are coming from a variety of different spots and sometimes it's unpredictable?
I feel like just being slow and getting out en route, making sure it's secure before you get out helps a lot. I mean, sometimes, they do a good job of disguising it. So sometimes it is you don't know where it's going to come from, but if you're slow, you'll see it,
We talked in the spring about how different things are for you in life compared to your younger teammates. When your fiance is traveling with your son amidst this whole deal and seeing her posting it, I'm sure you're aware of it when it's happening, but when you see the videos thereafter,
yeah,
it's different, obviously, for her to be doing that.
Mhm.
What is that like? Like you're traveling on a plane with the rest of the guys and you're getting all
Mhm.
that, but she's going through airports with an infant and doing all that deal. So what is that like to experience when it's the non-football stuff, the off the field stuff?
It's a great experience. Like when I'm with them traveling, or like her traveling alone, or just being a dad in general.
Being a dad amidst the playoff
I mean, it's a great experience. Like I come here, I show up, I grind, and then I get to go home to my family, who I'm very thankful for. It's not always easy. Like right now, my son, he kind of sick. So sleep is kind of non-existent. But who needs sleep? You know what I mean? But nah, man, it's a blessing for sure. Like to just have those loved ones that you get to see after a long hard day at work. It just yeah.
I know it was, mentioned about you playing in Mercedes-Benz, and I know that there have been some difficult memories there in terms of how those state championship games went, in particular the first one. Just how motivated are you to kind of flip the script of games you've had in that stadium?
I mean, every game's a new game. I don't really, hold any past feelings going into games from recent games. Every game is a new game, so it's like I just want to win. I don't really care about my record in the stadium or past games that's happened. As long as we win this game, I'm gonna be happy.
No, just what you can say about not only being in the backfield and the success that you've had, but with Davison, just the 1-2 punch. We saw it a lot in the last game against Texas Tech. Just what it's like to be in the backfield and feed off each other.
Well, I mean, like I'm the vet, so it's just I feed off of just seeing my younger guys just have success, and they feed off me too. They always say you get us started, you get us going, like we feed off you. So we feed off each other. Like sometimes I'm in games where the run's not hitting or I miss a hold. They're like, "Hey, bro, remember what you told me?" Like they'll tell me what I told them, and I'm like, "Damn, y'all sound like me. Like you coaching me up." So yeah, it's unique, man. It's special, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to, share this time with them because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get freshmen that get to come in and that's ready and that's as talented as these guys. And I'm just happy that I got the opportunity to share the backfield with them.
I just wanted to know how many ticket requests you've gotten this week.
I got a lot, but I mean, I'm not bad at saying no. My teammates were charging too much money for tickets this week, so I just chose to just be the bad guy. I mean, if you're not gonna like me over me not getting you a ticket to the game, then the love not genuine. So, but I got 10 so far. So yeah, that was my max.
Just how important is the diversity that Coach Stein has in his run game when you're going into a rematch like this, where they've seen your run game before?
I feel like football is universal. So I mean, we all run the same stuff. It's about how you go out there and execute it, and it's about physical dominance. Honestly, in the run game, you gotta line up against the person you're going against and move them. It creates lanes. Like I mean, they gonna know what we're gonna run. We gonna know what they gonna run. It's about who's gonna out physical the opponent and stop it.
Now that you got a chance to kind of reflect on the last game, what do you feel like was the difference between that first half when the offense struggled to finish a little bit and the second half when you guys were able to get some stuff going?
I feel like that juice we brought into the locker room at halftime, that helped a lot. And, just going into that second half, we were just all positive vibes on the sideline. Like, I feel like that energy, that juice, that positive affirmation, like, that's big, and it's, like, real big for success, like, for our offense, because you need so many things to go right. You need everybody to move on one accord. As far as defense, you just need one person to make a play, But when we do that and we having fun, we joking around, and we just being ourselves, being the unique human beings that we are, we go out there and we play to our standard, and yeah.
That's Noah Whittington, his preview on the Peach Bowl coming up on Friday. Got to bring that same second half intensity that Oregon had in the Orange Bowl throughout the full game here against Indiana. Friday, 4:30, ESPN, 2:30 pregame on the Oregon Sports Network. Going to be a big one, a chance to go to the national title A trip to the Natty on the line in Atlanta. A lot still to preview from this game, including some more offensive weapons for Oregon that could play a big part in helping out Dante Moore and his game. The tight end Kenyon Sadiq coming up when we return on Duck Insider, the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you real. Don't forget to say yeah.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ron Milano here with you on a Wednesday, taking you through the Peach Bowl preview ahead of Friday's matchup against Indiana, and somebody that is keen to play a big part in this game, part of what is an increasingly healthier and healthier receiving core. Kenyon Sadiq, he missed a few games early in the season, was banged up, but he has been nothing but healthy here down the stretch and a huge key contributor for Dante Moore in the passing game this season. He also set the Oregon single-season record for most completions to a tight end, most receptions by a tight end. He's a weapon. He spoke with the media yesterday previewing the matchup against Indiana. Kenyon Sadiq going to be a big factor in the national semifinal.
Yes, Kenyon, can you take us back to the first meeting in October and kind of what you remembered there and maybe how that was beneficial for this team in terms of learning from a loss?
Yeah, I kind of like, there's one or two ways you can look at it. I think this year there's a lot of teams, you can look at Penn State, for instance, kind of how they handled the loss. And then you look at teams like us, for instance, how we bounced back against Rutgers. So I think that game kind of just, it really says a lot about our team and the maturity and the mindset we had after that game. I think it was good for us in a lot of ways, offensively, defensively, and I think we handled it a very mature way.
Since it's nearly 3 months ago from that game, Will had mentioned, a couple of guys mentioned after that, you were really limited in practice that week leading up to it. Just how much or how little did you even do before that game, and how different are you today physically than you were at that point 3 months ago?
Yeah, right. I was very limited on what I did, and I think that had an impact on my play and the feel for the offense, as a whole. So, this week I think it's important that I just, keep getting those reps in. So we're going to completely different offense, from that game. So, just important we come out there, start fast, play with good chemistry.
Last time you guys played them, you were still working out of 11 as your base personnel, but since then you've had to adapt. It's been you and Jamari as kind of the physical, being able to find that 12 personnel with the two tight ends. How do you think that plays out, just bringing that more physicality with those two tight ends out there?
Yeah, I think it allows us to do a lot of things. We don't just have to be in a physical,
12 personnel set. We can get in 10 and 11 sets as well. So I think that makes it a bit difficult for defenses to figure out what they want to do, whether they want to play in, nickel sets or base sets. So, it gives us a bit of flexibility in a lot of areas.
The offense kind of struggled in the first half to finish against Texas Tech. You guys were able to come back and have a better second half performance. But now, after looking at the film, what are some ways that you're kind of focused on preparing for this next matchup and getting a little bit faster start and being able to finish in the red zone to put some more points on the board?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the little things. I mean, if you watch the film, it's just like one missed block, that ends up, stopping the play. So, I mean, it's really just focused on the real technique. Texas Tech was really good players, and the same thing for Indiana. When it comes down to good on good, it's the little things like the technique. So, no, it's just honing in on those little details. That'll be the separator.
I wanted to get your early thoughts on Kendra. I know he's only been here a really short time, but just to see him moving around in practice, kind of what'd you see from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a good job. It's always nice to, come in early and get a little head start. But no, he's done a great job. It's nice getting to know him.
Like you mentioned, with 12 personnel, that you can operate in different sets. You saw in this past game a little bit of 13, but it's not. I don't know how true a 13 it is because Roger's built the way he is, and you're built the way you are. What does he provide, not only as a potential receiver, as a tight end, but as a perimeter blocker, particularly when you guys lose a guy like Justice who was doing that role?
Yeah, like you said, we're able to do a lot of things in those sets. So I think it makes us, like I said, very flexible as an offense. When you get in those big sets, we're able to still run the ball. But, you saw like Minnesota, for example. We're really getting those 13 personnel sets and still throw, routes and stuff like that. So like I said, it just makes it more difficult to guard down the road.
The defense that throws as many different looks as they do in terms of their pressures and stuff. How have you seen Dante grow as a leader for the offensive line, for the tight ends, everybody in terms of setting the protections and being that kind of guy to make sure everyone's set as blockers?
Yeah, I think it's night and day. If you go watch our first Indiana game and you go back to this JMU, which ran a similar scheme, with pressures coming from just about everywhere. I mean, Dante just has a really mature mindset about it. Every week he comes in and attacks it, and everyone can see in the building. So, we all trust him. He's going to get us in the right play, the right check, whatever it is.
This whole program really preaches that next man up mentality. How much more important does that become when it's the end of the season? Guys might be hurting, and then on top of that, you're dealing with the transfer portal.
I mean, yeah, all those things play a role, whether you like it or not. So, I mean, it's just really about focusing on what we have here. Lanning says that about every day in practice. There's going to be someone that shows up that hasn't all season. That's so true. So, there'll be someone this game that has a great game, but that just shows, once again, the depth of our roster, I think. Those guys that have left in the portal, guys are down for injury, and there's still going to be guys stepping up in just about everywhere. So, I mean, like I said, it just really shows the character, I think, of this team and the roster depth.
They generate about as many TFLs as anybody in the country, and I think they had the most TFLs of any opponent against you guys. What is it that they do so effectively to be able to generate that pressure, not just in sacks, but yes, also in sacks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have great players. Then second to that, they have great schemes. So, I mean, when you look at the stems they do, sim pressures, all those things, just even players winning their one-on-ones on the edges. Edges do a great job. So, I think Tech was a good game for us. I think they're the best front in the country. So, getting to look at those guys and head up to these guys, which is another great unit, I think it'll be good for us.
Mentioned Tech being a good game for you, especially with their linebackers being two of the best in the country. Indiana is another team with really good linebackers. They're out there in a base personnel a lot. Just how do you think that Tech game is going to prepare you for facing those linebackers again, especially when it's you and Jamari out there now?
Yeah, like I said, really similar matchup for us. Tech's linebackers are amazing, and these linebackers are amazing as well. So I think it's just going back to the technique thing. When it comes down to good on good, it's really who has better technique and who wants it more.
I want to mention that Dan had cited something about teams in March Madness and how they peak at the right time. Just can you convey a little bit more about what that message was and what you took from that?
Yeah, it comes down to who plays their best ball in November and December. And leading into January now, how long the season is. But no, it's really, you need to peak at the right time. You see a lot of teams, peak in the middle of the season or stuff like that, and then kind of just trend downhill. But no, it's kind of about just staying on like the steady, climb up the mountain. So I think it's kind of preached on. I think we're doing a really good job of it.
Well, and I think Kenyon Sadiq, if you're talking about peaking at the right time, I'm not sure if Oregon has had a greater peak this season than shutting out the number 4 team in the country 23-0 to earn a trip to the national semifinal. And whether that's the peak or not, it certainly means you're trending in the right direction and you're on the incline. Oregon looking to turn that peak into a new peak, peaking right over the ridge and looking right back up at where Oregon's going to play on Friday against Indiana at 4:30 on ESPN with a trip to the national championship on the line. A trip to the national championship on the line. I hope that's setting in for everybody. A trip to the national championship is on the line on Friday. Huge game. One of the biggest games. Continuing to hear from some key players that will play a big part when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Closing up the show here in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. But first, we have to hear from somebody who's going to protect Dante Moore. Isaiah World on the Joe Moore finalist offensive line. He has been a key addition to this offensive line this season. He's going to play a big part coming up on Friday. Let's hear from the left tackle, Isaiah World.
I'm just curious on having faced Indiana once before, kind of what is it that makes them so difficult to, in protections in particular, to stop?
That's a good question. I think like we already went over before. They got a good coach over there, good program. A lot of dudes with the like mindset as we have, but they got a lot of stuff. You know, they got a good stout defense, multiple different coverages they play out of. It's just a lot of looks that we have to account for, and we need to make sure we are all on the same page as far as our communication and stuff. That's what hindered us last time. So,
You mentioned that communication. How have you seen Dante, especially as a leader for that O-line room, step up with that communication since that first game and just really set everybody to make sure you're sliding the right way and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like you said, Dante, we definitely had a lot of things we could have improved on that last game. Like Coach Lannon said, we a new team and they're a new team as well. So it was just taking the next step as far as just getting better and making sure we're all on the same page. We do our weekly protection meeting so we can make sure like we all have the same thought pattern and just anything else we could do to get the edge.
What did the first game kind of maybe mean to you personally, and kind of what lessons did you learn that are maybe valuable in the rematch this week?
Yeah, it definitely hurt. Feeling that the pain of the loss, definitely we in Austin Stadium. So I think just knowing and recognizing that that pain and what we did that wasn't good to make us lose, and just going and correcting and doubling down on our process, and just going back to the haystack.
Touch on it a little bit, but what do they do that is that difficult, Isaiah? Like, because a whole bunch of defenses run simulated pressures, y'all run simulated pressures,
right?
But they generate more TFLs almost than anyone in the country. So everybody goes about preparing for this, and yet they still manage to have success. So is it just they show a variety of looks? Do they show a lot out of the same look, and it's just hard to know what they're doing? What is it that makes them so successful?
Yeah, like I said before, they got a good group of guys, so that definitely makes it hard. Number 4, their linebacker, I learned that this week he has the free for all to go give the defense new calls and stuff. So sometimes they check to match our personnel, or they match anything we do. They check and we check, and they do anything to get the most advantageous look for their defense. So it's just trying to find those little keys and stuff that they do, like even just. I know, like I just already said it earlier, but a lot of it is just communication and making sure we're all on the same page. Because with all the variety, we all have to be on the same page. I mean, it's not hard. It's just playing with effort, and then just playing harder, longer than the whistle than they are.
That's Isaiah World. He's going to have a big task in front of him protecting Dante Moore coming up on Friday in the national semifinal. It's the Peach Bowl in Atlanta at 4:30 on ESPN. The national semifinal. Friday, Indiana, Oregon, going at it for a trip to the national championship. They'll play the winner of the Ole Miss-Miami game that will occur tomorrow. These are the teams and the games for why you come to Oregon. This is the type of opportunity, and there's going to be a big opportunity in front of this Ducks football team. I can't wait. I want to roll the football out right now. I'm ready to play. I mean, I'm not playing, but I'm ready to watch them play because it's going to be that exciting. One of the bigger games in recent memory for Oregon football, and there have been a lot of them. I'm excited for this one, a rematch against Indiana. Also excited for the Oregon women's basketball team. A big win last night. Came back from 17 down, closing a 14-0 run to beat USC. Chris Clayton will be here in the Country Financial Studio tomorrow to host tomorrow's Duck Insider. More Peach Bowl preview coming, some more women's basketball talk, and before we know it, that ball will be on the gridiron. See you, everybody. Go Ducks.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it.